These niggas feel what jealousy. I'm doing good, that's what they hearing me. This girl is in my memory. Oh, if I get your felony.
What is up, you guys? Sage here, and today I'm going to tell you the difference between being self-employed and owning a business. Now, what qualifies this statement and the reason I'm able to make it, and the reason why I got to this point where I wanted to know this thing is because in high school I was selling supplements, right? I was making about $50 a pop selling supplements, but sales were quite infrequent. So I fell in love with that business, and I was like, wow, I really would like to be able to scale this business and figure this business out, right? But in order to do that, I would need capital, and I would also need information. So in order to get that information, within the first 2 months of last year, I read about 10 business books. And these are not just any business books. These are literally the top 10 business books recommended by people that I look up to, right, in various industries, right? So this is your Rich Dad Poor Dads, your Think and Grow Rich, Blue Ocean Strategy, The E-Myth, The One Thing by Robin Keller, among other books, right? So these were like strictly information-based business books. I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to get to. So we go from selling the super supplements to, okay, what I need in order to have a better chance is I need to give something that I have an abundance of, right? Because what the issue with the supplement company is, you need capital in order to get stock, and then you can start, having vendors and distributing and this and that, right? So I asked myself, okay, what do I have an abundance of? And the answer was time. I have an abundance of time. And I have this information, right? And the information that I had an abundance of at the time was in training. Therefore, I started a training business, started a training company. And in that, I was making about $1,000 a sale, right? Now, this is obviously full transparency, right? I'm not here to lie to anyone. I'm just here to perhaps try and educate, and also to document these things. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I'm actually in love with this business. This is a great business, an incredible business model. And this is something that you can scale. However, in order to scale it, I would eventually need to be in a position where I could get employees to this, that, and the third. Which led me to my next issue, which was sales were also, they were frequent enough, but quite infrequent, right? In terms of that company. Now, I'm not saying you can't scale that type of business, but what I am saying is at that time, it was too slow for me. So the opportunity for coaching came up. Now in coaching, I was making about $100 an hour. You can do the math on that. And I was like, wow, I love this business. This business is great. You can scale this business. It's a very scalable business. In doing all of this, I discovered that, wow, I actually just love business, right? Hence our life is centered the way it is right now. And, it's and hence business is not only the love of my life, but is going to be a central focus in terms of my career from here on out. Now, that was just context. What I said I was going to teach you is, or what we're going to discuss today, rather, because I don't think of myself as a teacher. I don't think of myself to be in any position to be a teacher. However, I am someone who knows a little bit about a little bit. So what little bit I know, I'm gonna come share here. The difference between being self-employed and owning a business. Now, in schools, what you're taught is how to be an employee, basically, right? Basically, because you are taught how to learn, right? And the goal of that learning, or not necessarily in school, we can also take this to maybe like a home education, like that type of stuff. But societally, typically, the path is, you're going to go to school, you're going to learn, you're going to get some sort of degree, you're going to get a nice, safe, secure, high-paying job, ideally, right? A high-paying job, and that's that, right? Okay. Now, to go from that, the next level would be, for example, to own your own. Say, for example, you were going to be a very high-paid employee. You're going to be a doctor, right? You're making hundreds of thousands, right, a year. Okay, fantastic. Now, your next logical step from being a doctor would probably be to open your own practice, right? And when you open your own practice, you get a bit more control of your life, and now you're a business owner, right? No. Now you are self-employed. You've moved from the E quadrant of the cash flow. This is Rich Dad's Cash Flow, by the way. You can find it in books like obviously Rich Dad Poor Dad, and basically all of Robert Kiyosaki's books. He talks about this and discusses this at length. That's not what I'm getting into today. Today, I'm just focused on the difference between being self-employed, owning a business. So if you go from being a doctor in a hospital, for example, to owning your own practice, you are now a self-employed doctor. The reason why you're only self-employed and not a business owner is because it's a small business, so it's not defined technically as a business, right? Now, the defining characteristic is the fact that in order for you to eat, you need to work. In order for your money to be flowing, in order for you to receive money, you need to be working. And the measuring stick in the Rich Dad series is, if you can't stop working for more than 6 months and still get paid, then you're not a business owner. You're self-employed, right? Now, the main difference, and I got a bit of an analogy for you. Basically, when you're an employee, you are working at a hospital, no? And then that same doctor opens a practice. Now that doctor is self-employed. Now, to go a step further is to be the owner of a practice where a doctor is working. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So now you own the business that has the person working who is going to make the money, and perhaps have other employees around him who are going to help him make the money. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Whereas if you are the doctor who's making the money and you have perhaps a couple of employees who are helping you make the money, you still need to work for money. Whereas if you own the practice and you pay the doctor to come work, and you pay the employees to come help him work, now you are a step removed. Meaning what? You don't have to work for money. You pay money, and that money is working for you. You give that person money, and you wouldn't be paying that person if that person's acts or that person's service wasn't going to make you more money. So you're paying money to get more money. Your money is working for you. Whereas when you are in the S quadrant, you are self-employed and you are still in the position where you're working for money. You understand? Okay, I think we're going to shut it down there today. This is basically what the framework of the channel is going to be. Obviously, the first two videos were sort of an introduction and managing expectations, right? In terms of, okay, what is this? What are we going to do? What are we trying to do? Now, from today's video is the type of content that really excites me, and it's what I'm going to be mainly focused on. So if you are not interested in one day perhaps taking control of your life, taking control of your finances, I do the reading so you don't have to, right? I do the nerd stuff because I like that stuff. That stuff's interesting to me, so that you don't have to. And I love you for supporting me. Thank you very much. But please don't waste your time if it's not gonna be, something that you're interested in. Anyway, love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Sage, signing out.